Hey, what's up, internet? This is Spikesmth, Boango, many names. I just want to tell you about this party I went to last night, right? So I had this really kind of interesting discussion with this girl, right? So she's from New Orleans, and she, I guess, was displaced from Katrina, but she was like, I'm the rich white girl, and I was allowed to leave, but the poor black people, were held at gunpoint and prevented from leaving the city, and I was like, you know, I'm skeptical of that shit, man. I mean, I think that if anything, it's a failure of an early enough response, as well as just people not believing that it was a life-threatening situation. Like, I think that any rational poor person, if they were determined enough, it doesn't matter how poor you are. You fucking take a bus, you fucking walk, you hitchhike. You know, it doesn't necessarily take the government in order to save lives in a situation like this. I mean, my argument to this girl was fucking the libertarian point of view. Like, ultimately, everyone's responsible only for themselves and their loved ones. I mean, you can't just have the expectation of entitlement that, well, the government needs to step in and do something. I mean, there's some situations where that's justified. But, I mean, I was watching a YouTube video about Clinton's response to the hurricanes during his administration. And granted, those hurricanes were not of equal magnitude, but there was always, it was just a freaking God event, dude. The shit just swooped in. Like, the government cannot stop a hurricane. And she was like, yes, it should. That's the job of it. And I was like, God damn it. I mean, I agree, though, that I do currently pay taxes to support federal agencies like FEMA. And because I'm paying for it, I expect it to work, for myself and for others. Because, heaven forbid, I mean, I'm in San Francisco, man. If the big one hits, I might need some federal help or something, I mean, something like that, you don't even get a day or two of warning. That shit just hits. Anyway, so, okay. So this discussion evolves and evolves. And I was just saying that, the government's job is not to take care of us as little children. The government is to make sure that we don't, kill each other as we live in a free society. Anyway, so this eventually comes on to, she was kind of like guilty, I guess, that she was all rich and like she was allowed to escape the city, and she just felt bad for the people left behind. And I mean, I feel bad for them too, but I don't know. I'm skeptical that they were held in the city at gunpoint while it was flooding. I mean, I don't know. That's taking it pretty extreme. I think that there was a lot of people that just either didn't believe that it would be such a bad situation, or just people who were just determined to stay because it was all they had and all they knew. But, I mean, the government can't control the weather, Anyway, so this philosophy that so she starts advocating for communism. Straight up, she says, like, well, capitalism apparently fucked up in this situation, and communism is thereby a better answer and would provide a better response. Which, I mean, maybe in a smaller society, but in a nation of millions, that it couldn't work. The scale of it, there's just too much complication. And she would not acknowledge at all the philosophy that the command economies are not sustainable, because you end up, violating people's freedoms for which there's resentment and eventually revolution. I mean, I don't know. So this goes on. And this whole discussion just falls apart, right? She straight up says, I'm quoting word for word, this is her sentence: communism means being against the rules. And I just, I was my jaw kind of dropped. I was like, did you really just say this? Communism is about being against the rules. Yeah, bullshit. I'm lighting a cig to that, man. The shit is ridiculous. So she'd earn a little bit of respect. The fact that she was willing to stand up for what she believes in and shit, and that's cool. I respect that in people. But when she said that, it clearly just boom, red flag. She's just really ignorant to shit because I mean, I don't know if she knows what communism is. Maybe she knows some like hippie commune style. Maybe she thinks communism is derived from hippie commune. I don't know. So okay, I just want to know what all you political minded folks out there think on an issue like this. You got on the one hand, you got businesses and individuals ought to have the right to control their wealth, to have the right to use their money as they see fit. I mean, they but on the other hand, taxing is important because the government provides services that businesses ultimately wouldn't. There's some things that just economically it's better, infrastructure wise, to just have the government do. So, I mean, tax rates ought to be as low as is realistic, but they can never reach zero because otherwise then you live in basically a governmentless world, which wouldn't be that bad, but as a society, we clearly can achieve much more with government influence to kind of prevent the economy from tipping over one way or the other. Anyway, I mean, basically, it comes down to the fact that just too many people are just uneducated and they don't know what their own self-interests are, and so they're easily deceived by the media, culture, whatever. They're unable to articulate their or even understand what their own self-interests are. So, but dude, she said communism means being against the rules. Like, that's such bullshit. Anyway, I just want to know what any political minded people out there want to say about capitalism, communism, and those like economic political type theories. Like, I find that really fascinating. And or better yet, opinions on stupid hippies who buy into the counterculture propaganda, as I say. I mean, it's just as bad as the pro-culture propaganda. I mean, but then they ignore empirical evidence. Anyway, word. I'd like to see some responses. Holla at me. Peace to everyone.